too much of time, I do want to talk about this very quickly. I want to talk about 39 and I want to talk about 25-21 very quickly.
Hmm.
I know you said something over the phone, like you did not like the endings for both of these shows. But
Yeah. Well,
let's start with 39 since that one
okay.
ended first.
The
Uh
12 episode 39.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it was 12 episodes from the get-go, or do you think they
No.
reduced it to 12 episodes because it was
I
not
think they
doing so well?
I think they reduced it. I'm not fully versed on what the ratings were, but I feel like they reduced it, or I believe this. At a certain point when they were writing the last however many episodes,
Uh-huh.
they were probably like, where do we go? Like,
Yeah,
I
because they
don't
gave
know.
it all away. Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, where do we go here? Because we told them she was gonna die in, I think, the first or second episode.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
And so, like, how many more scenes can we add that it won't become
Yeah.
redundant?
Uh-huh.
So then, like, let's just cut it to 12. I,
Oh,
I believe that's a possibility, or
yeah.
it was a possibility of like, uh, guys, we're not doing very well. Let's just cut our losses, and can you end it at 12? And
'Cause
then
it's
they're
way
like,
too
yes, thank you.
sad. It was, like, way too sad. I was like, What are they doing to me?" Like, every single episode is just like, "Oh my god." Like, do
Well,
you
they
just
switch
want me to cry?
courses. Yeah,
You
they
know?
switch courses because for the first two episodes, they led us to believe that it was just going to be the hugest melodrama, sad drama ever.
Yeah.
Then on episode three, when Hospital Playlist Girl goes, I want to now do everything in a bucket list I'm going to write, and I want to live
Yeah.
like a happy remainder.
Yeah.
Cool. Then to me, I was like, okay, now I know where they're going, and it's
Yeah.
not the saddest play time in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then they diverted from that.
Yeah, they didn't do it. They didn't
She
give
had a
us.
bucket list of three things.
Yeah.
She only succeeded on, actually, honestly speaking, she only succeeded on one and a half.
Uh-huh.
She succeeded in getting Crash Landing Girl a
Uh-huh.
boy, like, to get with the guy, and
Yeah.
then she didn't do anything with the older woman, younger man trope, which I can't stand. There's too much of that going on in Korean dramas these days. Old woman, young man. But she
Uh-huh.
didn't do anything with that. She
Uh-huh.
just kind of like was like, okay, let's just see where it goes. And then
Uh-huh.
so she didn't do anything. And then the other one
Yeah.
was is to get her lover
Mhm.
back together with his wife,
Yeah.
and she
Which
failed.
never happened. Yeah.
And so to me, I think they either lost sight of what their main theme was,
Mhm.
or there were external pressures to be like, no, don't go that way. Let's go this way. Because they were kind of all over the place.
And
Uh,
they had the whole, like, adoption storyline too with Son Ye-jin. It was
which
just a
and
lot
yeah,
there was a lot going on,
yeah,
and I was like,
which
"This is too much."
I just don't think they organized their episodes very well. I
I
like
just
that
found it.
girl.
Who, Son Ye-jin?
The Wonder Girls girl.
Oh,
No, no,
the
not
idol girl.
the Wonder,
The idol.
the sister.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
I
yeah,
was fine with that whole storyline. I'm
yeah,
fine with the adoption. If they wanted to push adoption, great. But
uh-huh,
they just kind of boom, like, and then that was it.
yeah,
Because obviously they knew it was going to be 12 episodes before we did.
uh-huh.
Like, I only found out about it, I think, the week of. There were no articles about it being 12 episodes, and I think on Netflix it says series finale or season finale. I'm like, what? And so I found out, like, on the, I think, the week of. So, but they knew there were going to be 12 episodes. So I think to them, they just cut that storyline abruptly. Um,
Mhm.
and then, like, the when Sonia Jin and her um
Doctor Lover.
boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
yeah, when they adopted that kid, to me that was
Yeah,
kind of out of nowhere. I know she
yeah.
had a relationship with the kid,
I kinda
but
saw it coming.
there was no indication,
No, 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 I
you
saw it
know.
coming. Because, like, he was so attached to her, and
Yeah, I mean,
he would always be like, "Oh, like, Emo, like, when are you gonna come and see me? Like, I don't, like, if next time you come, what if I'm not here?" There was all this anxiety, and then, like, when Son Ye-jin and the guy, like, are talking about their future, he's like, "Oh, like, I wanna adopt a lot of children," and she's like, "Oh, yeah, then
mhm.
we better," but and so I kinda saw it coming, so I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
whatever," but
See, so the thing is, when I watch TV, I try not to guess. So I just base it on. what they showed me. I try not to
Mm.
guess because
Yeah,
I'm
I saw it
sure.
coming though. I thought it was there. I thought it was like, this is
Yeah,
the
like, but
setup.
for me, where I mean by it came out of nowhere for me, or kind of out of nowhere for me, was is that
Yeah.
there was no chemistry relationship that they were kind of like. It was just like, oh, I'm here. Hey, what's up, kid? Like, yeah, you're the kid I'm closest to. There was no like what set him apart. What there was no kind of like backstory or whatever for me. So to me, it was just kind of like there wasn't a natural progression. If
Oh.
they wanted to be a surprise, there wasn't really that either. It was just like that's the only kid you see her talking to. Um, yeah, and then the ending to me was very like blah. Like it was the two girls walking off in the sunset.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, there was no like I don't know. I just felt like I don't, and the thing is, I don't even know what I wanted from the ending, but I felt like there was no sense of like accomplishment. There was just nothing. Because to me, I think if they stuck with the Sonya Jin's thing of I want to make the remaining days of my hospital playlist friend the best days of her life,
Uh-huh.
and they accomplished that, like
Right,
throughout
right.
the like
Yeah.
the 12 episodes,
Like
or I'm
go to
sorry,
Maui or go somewhere and
yeah,
like do
go
something
go all these
big. Yeah,
do all
yeah.
these things.
But it
Um,
wasn't that they were just kind of like going from apartment to apartment, restaurant to
mhm.
restaurant. Like there wasn't a big thing really.
The
In
there's only
fact
one
in
thing that was
fact
big.
in fact, they went to Son Ye-jin's mom's prison. Like, that
Yeah,
was, like, the next thing that they did. The one big thing
yeah.
that they did was the brunch, the surprise brunch. I thought that was very
That was the
sweet.
one thing that
Yeah.
was I thought was the best thing that they did.
Yeah.
But I thought it was basically they were all lazy. They weren't good friends in fulfilling. Hey, let's make our friend the happiest person she can be these
Yeah.
last few days. No, no. You know what? Rather than that, let's go to her place. Let's go to my place. Let's drink and eat at each other's
Yeah, yeah,
restaurants,
yeah,
and then
that's all they
cool.
did. Maybe it was
Yeah,
like a
they just hung
budget thing.
out.
I'm pretty sure it was a budget thing. They're like, "Okay, this drama's way too sad, it's not gonna do well, we're not gonna give you a lot of money. Because I hear budgets fluctuate too, like, from this
Yeah.
K-drama. She was a first AD on a K-drama, and she was like, "If a drama's not doing so well, they will cut the budget and put it into
Hmm.
another show, and you have to just deal with whatever's left." And so they were probably, like, imagining that they were gonna go on all these trips, like Jeju Island at the
Yeah.
very least, but they're like, "No, no, no, you need to just go to apartments now." And that's all
Yeah.
they could
And
fucking
then
do.
talk about shooting yourself in the foot
Yeah.
and cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
most horrible thing to do.
I
Yeah, to
was
me,
very I was worried about, like, this is just my cynical brain coming in, but you know how, like, in the end, like, the 2 women who were alive, they come to the hospital playlist girl, Chun Mi-do's, parents' house, and they, like, bring them a cake and bring them a
mhm,
bag, and they're, like, being, like, the daughters that they
yeah,
will continue to have. I was just like, I don't think this is gonna last. I really don't, like, and even the guy that, like, got divorced and, he got
mhm,
screwed because his ex-wife was a cheater and all this shit, even him, like, living in this dead woman's house and, like,
yeah,
it was just way too much. I was like, "None of this is healthy." Like, this is I like, that was, like, my brain
no,
coming in. I was like, "This does
yeah,
not seem healthy. They need to let this shit go and move on with their fucking lives
yeah.
because they can't remain hung up on a dead woman." Like,
Mm.
that was my cynical side coming in, but
Oh yeah,
also,
no,
like, a
he
genuine
still lives there.
concern.
Yeah, no, he
He's
still lives
still
there.
there looking
He
at a
still lives
photo
there.
of her every day.
Yeah, it's no,
This
and like to
isn't
me,
this isn't right.
what the writer did is
Yeah,
they set this up, and
yeah,
then they went this way.
yeah,
As like, hey, gotcha. But
yeah,
you can't do that for themes. You can't go set this up and then go and
yeah.
they did that so many times.
It
And then
was
they
too
brought the
much.
convenient, before I met you, I was pregnant, but I didn't tell you. Surprise, I'm just gonna let you believe for the first 12 years of the kid's life that it's your kid.
Right.
And then so to me, I actually would have liked it if the boy and girl were actually in love with each other,
Yeah.
and then Hospital Playlist Girl got them back together. I actually would have appreciated that storyline,
Hmm.
to where she actually worked on getting them back together.
Hmm.
Because then there would have been the conflict of Hospital Playlist Girl working with her lover's wife to get them back together. But
That wife
it
was a
was so.
piece of work though, like, she was,
Oh
like,
yeah, and
awful.
that's why I thought it would have been better because she was such a piece of work in the beginning. But then
Yeah.
they made her out to be this evil, seductress manipulator
Yeah.
that faked a pregnancy. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, now she's a horrible human being, and
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want anything good to happen to her. And then she says, oh, and this is the part I really didn't buy. Hey, I neglected my son for the first 12 years of his life, but give me one more chance and I'll do really well. And if
Mhm.
I don't do well, you can take him back.
Right.
Like, really? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, I thought if they stuck with their original plans,
Uh-huh.
I think the show would have been that much better,
And
or
again,
at least fulfilling,
I think
you
again,
know?
it's like they couldn't do literally, even though these are imagined characters, the imagined characters could not do the things that they planned because the budget is such a reality. And the
Yeah,
show
and
just tanked.
you know what I would have done? If I
Yeah.
was a friend of the writer
Yeah.
producer, I
Uh-huh.
would have showed them the Finkel's camping trip.
Hmm. I didn't see
That
that.
that variety show was based on all these locales in Korea that
Uh-huh.
don't look like Korea.
Oh.
There's actually a desert in Korea that makes it look like they're
Whoa.
in Africa.
Holy
There's
shit.
like tropical areas in Korea that makes it look like they're in some tropical country, and it's all
Wow.
Korea.
Wow.
They could have just went there and used it as like, oh, I always want to go to Africa. Oh, well, here we are in Africa. Or you know, I've always wanted to go to a rainforest. Well, boom,
Mm.
here we are. And
Mhm.
all they had to do is stay in Korea.
Mhm.
I think honestly, the writer got lazy, the producers got lazy because now and then that came out in the friendships. The friends got lazy. They're like, hey, rather than show my friend a good time, I know we'll just go to our friend's semi quasi boyfriend's restaurant for the
Yeah.
fifth time and eat the same Chinese food.
Yeah, and but, like, those bitches were all, like, worn out because of their own personal dramas, like, that bitch, she quit her job, and, the
Yeah.
other one, like, her adoption situation, and da da da. It was a lot. I feel like there was a lot packed in, and it was just very overwhelming. Okay, so what about, 25-21? You also did not like the ending for that one?
Yeah, I thought there was like number one, who's the husband? Who's her husband?
Hmm.
You
He's
can't,
never mentioned, yeah.
yeah, you can't base a romantic comedy
Mhm,
on a pair of lovers,
mhm,
and then oh, and I mean, they gave clues. They were good at giving clues that oh, she doesn't marry the guy, and that's
mm,
fine. I didn't need them to be married, but they gave clues. I really think the 39 producer should take lessons on how to leave clues about who she's going to adopt. But whatever,
uh-huh,
they left clues that they weren't going to marry each other. That's fine. But
uh-huh,
you have a daughter from this husband that we don't know who he is,
yeah. And we
and
don't know if he's
and she's
alive or if they're
we don't know if he's
divorced or if
alive,
he's
and
still
if he
around. We don't know.
exactly, and if he's not around, whether he's dead or
Mhm.
just they're divorced, then can
Uh-huh.
they get together now?
Uh-huh.
Because they
Uh-huh.
set it up that way, and then at the end, oh, I'm sorry, what? Our closure is that his password is his first love.
Uh-huh.
Like that's not closure. That's
Mm.
just like window dressing that leads with no substance in my mind. And so
Hmm.
I just thought, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but usually B love
Mhm.
storylines are better than
Mhm.
the A storyline. And
Hmm.
my theory behind that is because they have less pages to work with. So
Mhm.
every word has to be efficient. Every
Mm.
scene with the B storyline has to be efficient because they
Mhm.
need to devote more pages to the A storyline. And
Mhm.
so A storyline, they find out, oh, we have 10 pages to work with. Okay, how do we fill 10 pages? I don't know. Let's just have them look at each other for a while and like for 2 pages, and then we'll just write dialogue for 8. But
Mm.
B storyline, guys, you have 2 pages. That's it. And so it has to be really efficient. And so they cut all the fat out. And so all the scenes between who I think is who looks like Hyunbin's son, Hyunbin from
Mhm.
Crash Landing on You, his son,
Mhm.
and Bona from WJSN.
Mhm.
Like their scenes were so great because they had to be very efficient. They cut the fat out.
Hmm.
But with Kim Tae and that guy from
Kim
Startup,
Kitty. Yeah.
yeah, Kim Tae and the guy from Startup, their scenes were just kind of like But I thought they had great chemistry. Everything was good, and so you want them to get together at the end. Like, yeah, sure,
I
we know
know.
the
I
girl's
was
father isn't
really
him.
I was really hoping for it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and like like you were saying, are they divorced? Is he dead? Is he not in the
Yeah.
picture anymore? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on with the husband? And
Yeah.
so I think like they dropped the ball. Here's the thing: is where you try to outthink your audience so much that you outthink yourself, and yourself being the writer of the show. Like you're like, oh, if I do this, it's so cliche. Everyone's gonna guess it. It's gonna be horrible. So I'm gonna do this instead. And then it turns out you made one too many turns, and then you lost a lot of your audience. Like sure, if they got together at the end, people will complain, oh, it's so cliche. But I bet you they would have felt fulfilled though if they got together at the end.
I think
There'd be some level of satisfaction.
there's this trend of, like, unhappy endings that's just kind of returning for some weird reason. Because remember, like, I don't know if you watched K-drama. Did you watch, like, K-dramas in the, like, 2000s? Like, late
I
90s,
didn't, but I
2000s?
knew a lot of them had like sad
Like,
endings.
somebody would die of cancer, right? Like, it was always
Yeah.
that. If the lovers would not be able to be together, it wasn't because they broke up amicably like they do in 25, 21. I felt like that was very refreshing, actually. Like, an amicable breakup. How does a person break up amicably and, like, still honor and respect each other and, like, do it in a nice way? I was like, the writer is keenly putting something in that hasn't been explored at all before. Because
Mm,
before, it was always like, breakups are the worst thing ever. It feels like death, and somebody's gonna go and get really fucking drunk, right?
yeah.
But in the past, it was like, if they're gonna break up, somebody's gonna die. Like, that's
Mm,
how dramatic it needs to be.
yeah.
So this one, she was trying to do something that's like, let's try and be realistic. The fact is, a
Yeah.
lot of people will get together and they won't be together, especially if you're high
Mhm.
school lovers or college lovers.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna break up. So she's trying to insert this reality or realism in there that people don't want to deal with when they're watching a TV
Yeah.
show or K drama, right? But I'm seeing this with 25, 21. I'm seeing this with 39, where the one of the protagonists dies. I saw it with uh oh, like Hi Bye Mama, right? Like, she's
Mhm.
dead and comes back to life and she dies again. Even in I know you said you didn't watch because you don't like Chang Kyung, but the Now We Are Breaking Up with Song Ye Kyo.
Oh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
So in that one too, it was actually uncanny how similar the subplot was with 39. It's about three women who are besties. One of them gets cancer, and then spoiler alert, she fucking dies. And I was
Mhm.
like, is this like a millennial women like throwback period?
Yeah,
Because
I
in the last 3 years, all these millennial bitches who starred in shows back then who were dealing with cancer in some form or fashion, like that was their era. These bitches are now dying 20 years later, like, on these shows, and it's, like, being dealt with in a different way. It's not about the 2 lovers, like, one of the lovers dying, but it's, like, a side character a supporting
Mhm.
actor or character who was very vital to the story or very important to the protagonist who's gonna die and break their hearts. I'm like, "What's with that?" And it's always a 30-something-year-old, it's always women in their late 30s that are being killed off, and
I
I'm just
people
like,
people talk. People
"What's with
talk.
that?"
I think it's so it happens in music too. Do you remember when I think it was Destiny's Child came up with the song "Bills, Bills, Bills"? Can
Uh-huh.
you pay my bills, my telephone
Uh-huh.
bill? There was
Yeah.
another song about being able to pay bills. I think it was like 3 or 4 songs,
Oh.
and it's because they're in the same recording studio.
Oh.
They hear the lyrics,
Oh.
or the writer who wrote the songs is writing another song, and they're,
Uh-huh.
oh, I like that idea. I'm not gonna pay money for that. I'm gonna write my own song about bills,
Uh-huh.
and so it kind of happens. People like to think like parallel thinking. Yeah, I'm sure sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's people talk and they overhear things. And I think in the case of like what you were talking about with 39 and 25, 21, or like with people dying with what's the
And now we
one
are
the
breaking up.
now we're breaking up, is people talk. People remember people are also one person is hearing all these pitches
Uh-huh.
like, hey, can you buy my show? What's your show about? Oh, it's about, 3 women, blah blah blah. What's yours about? 3 women, blah blah blah. And then they've got a script they're working on. What should we do here? Why don't you add 3 women? I've been hearing that a lot lately. Why don't you add 3 women?
Uh-huh.
That happens too. And then the
Mm.
the devious thing is this: hey, I've got this show. I've got 3 women. One of them died, and they all work in like a park, mountain range.
Mhm.
Huh? I don't like the park mountain range because I already have titties on, and we're gonna do the park mountain range already. But I like the 3 women, and one of them gonna die. They're good friends with the writer. Hey, you need a project, right? Why don't you write a show about 3 women and one of them's gonna die? That way, this person now cannot sue the network because it's a kind of a different idea. and
Mhm.
anyone can come up with three women and one of them dies. So that's a
Mhm.
devious way of why this could be happening too.
Mm.
So and
So it's like an
there's also
industry thing. It's just an
yeah, there's also
industry kind of thing.
trends. Yeah, there's also
Uh-huh.
trends in the industry, just like
Uh-huh.
music.
Uh-huh.
There's trends, and
Yeah.
so like the trope that's getting overplayed right now is old woman, young man. It's so overplayed that it's unnecessary. I didn't finish forecasting weather. I just couldn't finish it. But there's
Okay.
no reason why Sung Kang's character needs to be young. It's not relevant to anything. Now, if it's
Hmm.
relevant, like I didn't see something in the rain, but I felt like it was relevant because the young kid is the brother of her best friend. So
Okay.
it's like relevant that he's younger. But like in
Yeah.
forecasting weather, there's no reason for him to be young.
Okay, so
And
for that, I see an industry explanation for that because
mhm,
I told you this when we were in the green room. I said I don't like watching Korean dramas where I have no care. I don't know who the fuck they are. Like
uh-huh,
I only know people I've known for the last like 30 years. Those are the people
yeah,
I will keep coming to. So that the chick, that the older woman, she's like kind of she's been in a few dramas that like millennials would
uh-huh,
recognize, but then the guy, like people don't really know him. He's still kind of young, he's still up and coming. And it's like
mhm,
they need somebody to bring him up with her, you know? I think that happens like with Chang Gi-young, the psychopath looking guy that you don't like. I personally love him. I was like
mhm.
obsessed with him since the moment I saw him. But
Because you like
uh
psychopaths.
I
You
like
know.
psychopath looking guys, and he's hot. Im Soo-jung with Search WW, like she's huge. Im Soo-jung is like major Hallyu star. Chang Gi-young,
Mhm,
he hasn't had a major break yet. But they tried. They tried putting him with Chang Nara like few years ago in a like
mhm,
couple go back couple, and he was like a Sunbae guy in there. He didn't make big waves. But then in Search WW, he made a bigger wave, and Im Soo-jung's a bigger star. And then
mhm.
now with fucking when they put him with Song Ye-kyo, like it's like similar. Like he already did an older lady thing with Chang Nara
Yeah,
and Im Soo-jung, and now it's like no, it wasn't good enough. We need the big one, and it's Song Ye-kyo, right?
yeah.
And
And then but
now
she
he's
already
like
did.
definitely a star. He's like definitively a star, and he was
Yeah.
good. His acting had gotten better by Now We Are Breaking Up, because in Search W, I was like, he's still not quite there yet. He's more of a model still, but
Well,
I think it's because of that.
he's waiting for his serial killer role to really catapult him
Yeah,
to
he's
stardom.
gonna start doing it
But
eventually. Yeah, when he does
but
movies,
Song Hye
he's gonna do that.
yeah, movies would be perfect for him. Like Song
Yeah.
Hye already did the old woman young guy thing in what is it, Encounter?
Yeah, yeah, and
Um
it's again, it's because Park Bo-gum at the time, like, okay, he was already kinda well known, but they wanted to put him with, like, another bigger fucking star and be like,
yeah,
he's coming up, let's put him with the one, the K-drama actress." And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
and that show was, for me, quite mediocre. But in any
yeah.
case, I think it
That
has
one
to do
wasn't.
with that. I think it's like a matching of, like, we need somebody bigger to pull up this one because he's the one that's gonna be the next face of
Yeah,
for the new generation. I think that's what that is. I don't think it's even
yeah.
gotta do with, like, a trope per se. I mean, the whole thing with older women dating younger guys, that's been going on for the last 20 years. That was a fad, like,
Hmm.
since 20 years ago, and that was just the reality. But now it's happening because these millennial actresses are now fucking old, like they're 40 now. And I'm sure maybe did you start watching Our Blues?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm only halfway way into the first episode.
but how old looking are these guys? Like they're
Well, and the
so
girls.
sad. My
And the
heart is
girls. I love what's her name? Hanji Don't
Han
Dimples?
Jimin. Han
Hanji, I
Jimin.
love her. Like I
Yeah,
love her.
she's great. Yeah.
Um but and I think it goes back to what you're saying about the industry grooming these actors and actresses
Yeah.
because that's something that as the casual actually even the diehard fan won't consider that the network and studios doing this is where they need to groom actors and actresses so that in the next show, like Disney does it the best.
Mhm.
Disney, Nickelodeon, they groom
Mhm.
their actors the
Yeah.
best. Because how
Yeah.
else do you explain Zendaya?
Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like at least Ryan Gosling. People, oh, he's a good. Like I don't get Zendaya at all. Like I just don't get
Huh.
the allure at all. But it's because she
Okay.
grew up in Disney, and so it's great. But
Okay.
I completely agree with you. They are not grooming. Sung Kang, I think, is the one they're trying to really put. Like Netflix loves Sung Kang.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they love him, but
Uh-huh,
they need to start grooming. And I think Bona is another one that they're gonna like the one that's in 25/21,
uh-huh,
the second girl. I think they're
uh-huh.
gonna she's getting better. Uh, I just yeah they need to groom them because if they don't, they're gonna have to reuse these 40-year-old women. And the only stories they can do, and because I love a good middle aged love story.
Yeah,
And it's probably because I'm middle aged. I love a good
yeah,
middle aged love, but
totally.
you also have to pair it with like a B storyline of a love story in the
The
20s.
younger
You
ones.
have to
Yeah,
because you need younger viewers.
yeah, yeah,
You just need it.
yeah,
I love that, but I don't think the general population audience loves a middle aged love story. They
no,
might like it, but I don't think they
yeah,
love it. Like they won't
yeah.
watch a show for that.
And there's a
Did you
reason
start?
why. Like, I watched both. I'm a huge No Hee-kyung fan. I love that writer. I watch all of her works religiously. So when I saw it like a while ago that she was working with Lee Byung-hun, and I was like, her and Lee Byung-hun, I gotta see that. So when as soon as it dropped on Netflix, I watched it, and then I watched the other one over the weekend. But I'm just talking about like looking at how old Lee Byung-hun and Cha Seung-won look. Like they
Isn't he
were
like 50
like
something?
they're in their fucking 50s, bro. Like,
Yeah,
back in the day, they were so hot. They were like
yeah.
idols. They were like gods. They were untouchable. Fucking Lee Byung-hun used to he was engaged to Song Hye-kyo at one point. Like, they were
Hmm.
the hot shit. And now I'm looking at them, I'm like, "Oh my god, their eyes are shriveled." You know?
Yeah,
Like, they look so old and
and
sad, and I'm
yeah,
like, it's breaking my heart. It is
yeah.
breaking my heart.
That's why
Oh,
they need a vehicle like a script where it allows them to shine in their actual age. Like it
yeah,
allows them to look good. Look how they
yeah.
are and still be portrayed as good. They're right now
Mhm.
being portrayed in Jeju-do Island and they're manual laborers. So of
Yeah,
course their
yeah,
age, of course,
yeah.
but if we see them like as an attorney or like a private equity person in their
Uh-huh.
age and it's an actual love story, then I think they can shine. But I just don't think they have those scripts out there for them.
I
Um,
agree, and, No Hee-kyung is especially good at dealing with that kind of
what
age,
else has
like,
she written?
she did Dear My Friends with all the old people, like, the elderly actors,
Is
like,
that the one with
Kim
the girl
Hye-ja.
from What Is She Get
Yeah,
as the
yeah,
daughter?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, she did that. She did Live, with the police officer one,
Okay.
with Lee Kwang-soo.
Kong.
Lee Kwang-soo, yeah, and, she's just good at those kinds of storylines. She's just like a good melodrama writer, but I was very, like I was very much wondering what's gonna happen to people like Lee Byung-hun because he's always played the hot stud. He doesn't quite look like a dad just yet.
Yeah.
He's
It's
not
up to
gonna
him.
play
To
like a
me,
father,
yeah.
you know?
You're right.
He
Yeah.
and
To
and
me,
Song
it's up to
Hye-kyo
him.
too. I'm also worried about Song Hye-kyo. She's now 40. That bitch is 40 now, and it's like
It's
I
okay.
was
I
watching
think
a drama from 2004 called Lovers in Paris. There's a woman in there who played she was in her 40s and she played a mom to a 30-year-old man. Like that bitch was in her 40s. And Song Hye-kyo is
yeah.
in her 40s and she's still playing the woman who's like fucking dudes who are 10 years younger than she
Mm.
is, you know? And it's still a
I
love
think
story. I'm like, what's gonna
well,
happen to these pretty people
yeah.
when
So
they're
to me, it's number one. Will there be scripts for them to play in that shows them in their 40s and 50s?
Mhm.
But because that's not under their control. But what is under the control is will they take these roles like a little bit less of the major role
Mhm.
to play like an interesting character? Will they
Mhm.
do that? If they decide no, I like if Lee Byung Hun says like no, I'm the leading man. I need to be the leading man.
Mhm.
Then we're not going to see him for a while
Mm.
because unless he starts doing just only movies where he can still
Yeah.
continue playing like action star a la Liam Neeson,
Yeah.
in his 50s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But in terms of like a drama or whatever, it's
yeah.
up to them. Do, are they willing to? Like, I'm actually surprised Lee Byung Hun's doing this show because
Really?
we don't see him. Like I said, I'm only like 35 minutes in. We don't see him until 20 minutes in, and it's out of nowhere. Like he's selling supplies to an island,
Mhm.
and it has nothing to do with the scene before, and the scene after has nothing to do with it. It's like, oh shoot, we forgot Lee Byung Hun. Oh, we got to put him in
Mm.
somewhere. Okay, let's
Mhm.
just put him because they have a little title about the bank manager and
Mhm.
then the fish lady.
Mhm.
They have their names in the title, and then Lee Byung Hun comes out all of a sudden.
What
So
this project, I hear it's, like, more like an omnibus, so
yeah, yeah,
each, like, episode is gonna be focused more on a couple of characters, and then others will be, so it's like we're cycling through, so his storyline is coming
yeah.
up. Um
So I'm surprised he's doing it, um,
Mhm.
because comparatively speaking, and I'm talking more of a global sense, the
Mhm.
other actors are nowhere near the status of Lee Byung Hun. Like I know in
In
Korea it's a little
Korea,
bit
they
different.
are. In Korea,
Yeah,
they
in
are.
Korea it's different. Like
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
forget that guy's name.
Cha Seung-won?
Shimina's boyfriend.
Oh,
What's his name?
Kim Woo-bin.
Yeah,
This is his big
and
comeback. He's been away for a while because of cancer.
yeah,
Yeah.
because cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I know he's big. I know Shimina's big.
Yeah.
Because this one when
And
I
the
was talking to my mom
Parasite
about it.
lady,
The Parasite
Parasite
Lady, yeah.
lady.
Because
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to my mom about it that the Lee Byung Hun, is it
Han Ji-min, yep.
Han Jimin, Shin Min-na, and Woo, they're all leads. They
Yep.
can lead their own show. So the
Yep,
fact that
yep.
they're all in one show to me
Yeah.
is a big deal.
It is a big deal,
Um,
but it makes sense for No Hee-kyung because No Hee-kyung has always done that. She'll always do an ensemble cast of huge stars who deserve their own show, each of them
yeah,
in their
yeah.
own right. But she did that with Dear My Friends. If you watch Dear My Friends, they're all older, but
Oh
back in their
yeah, they're
heyday,
all
they
huge.
were fucking the stars.
Yeah,
So she's good with that. And I was looking also at like the age range, like Cha Seung-on, that Parasite lady, Lee Byung-hun, they're all born in the same year. So they
yeah,
are actually friends. They are colleagues? So it's like interesting to see them like you would never see them together in a show, but they're in there now. And I think that's part of the draw. And the other draw is I think Lee Byung-hun and Cha Seung-on and these actors would never say no to a writer of No Hee-kyung's status.
yeah,
Because in
yeah.
Korea, she's like showrunner status. And it's an honor to play in a
That's the fun part. Did you
yeah,
so you
yeah.
watched the other one? I forgot what it's called. The one with Kim Ji Won. I forgot how it's called.
Kim Ji-won?
Kim Ji Won,
Uh-huh.
and Lee L.
Uh-huh.
And then their brother is played by this actor who I love because he plays a dork. He plays a violent gangster in one movie. He
And
was
this is a
in
No Hee-kyung show?
no. It's on Netflix. It just came out same day as Our Blues. What's it called? Hold on, let me look at my phone real quick. Let me try to find it.
Is it
Um,
is it like set in the past? Is it like a period piece?
mm-mm.
The
I
girl
don't
from
watch
Descend
those.
There's a girl from Descendants of the Sun. She has a new thing out.
My Liberation Notes. Yeah, Kim Ji Won. That's Descendants of the
Yeah,
Sun.
My
It's called.
Liberation Notes.
Yeah, did you watch that?
I didn't. It's on my list. You started? Is
So
it good?
I know that it's probably not going to be a popular show because it's
Yeah.
a super slow burn.
Uh-huh.
But I don't like slow burns normally,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but I like slow burns that are set in the country
Oh.
because it makes sense.
Uh-huh.
However, this is also part in Seoul in the city. It's
Uh-huh.
just they just live in Shigor,
Oh.
and so it's a
And
slow
this is not a
burn.
period piece? I assumed it would be a period
Mm-mm.
piece because
It's not
My
a period piece,
Liberation is in it. Oh, okay.
and so I really like it's also because I'm not going to give anything away because it's in the
Yeah.
summary,
Yeah.
or synopsis. Like three
Uh-huh.
siblings who don't
Uh-huh.
know where their life's going.
Okay.
It's kind of based on that,
Yeah.
and so it's just nice. And I love the guy actor was in the show with I always forget this girl's name. Park Jungmin.
Park Jung-min? Okay.
She was considered like romantic comedy queen for a while. I
Okay.
think it's Park Jungmin. I
I
know
don't
you
know
know who
her.
she is.
Okay.
But he was in the show. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But he was in the show with so he played like a kind of a dork, like an
Okay.
introverted dork,
Okay.
um, with her, and then he also played like this gangster in. I'm just gonna look up on Asian Wiki.
I'm happy to
Um,
see, Liel play like a normalish kind of person
she's
because
actually really good. I'm a fan of hers. You know what?
she
Why
she's a
when I
really good
really started liking
actress.
her?
Yeah.
No, when I
What?
started liking her was when she was on Knowing Brothers, and she was talking. She actually, I need to ask you guys a question. How come no one wants to date me?
Huh.
And she really went into like how she won't get a lot of dates, and I really saw that her vulnerability. But
Yeah.
in this, she plays like a total vulnerable, like on the outside total hard, but
Yeah.
inside very vulnerable, and I
Uh-huh.
like her a lot. So the brother is Lee Min Hee.
Lee Min-gi. Okay.
Yeah, so he was in movies 3 Days, Detective Case, Secret of the Living Dead, For the Emperor, which I think is the one where he plays a gang. Oh no, that's not that one. I
Okay.
forgot what the one he plays a gangster. But he was in Oh Master TV show, The Beauty Inside, What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Oh, Because This Is My First Life.
Oh,
That's
I
it. But
saw
the
that.
girl is Chung So Min. Chung So Min.
Oh, I love Chung So-min. She's so
So
great.
he's the love interest of Chung So Min
Okay.
in Because This Is My First Life. But I that's the first role I saw him in, and then I
Uh-huh.
saw him in a Korean movie where he plays a gangster.
Uh-huh.
Very convincing in both. So I really
Uh.
like this guy. So he's
Uh.
the brother
He's
of Lee
versatile.
El and Kim Ji Won. I think that's her name. But yeah, My
Yeah.
Liberation Notes. I like it a lot just because um, I really felt watching it that these three siblings don't know where their life's going,
Mm-hmm.
and they're at like a breaking point of
Mm.
sorts.
Mm.
And so and their parents just clock in, clock out.
Mm.
Their work is just clock in, clock out. There,
Mm-hmm.
there's no
And they're
room
all
for
living
hope.
together?
Yeah, they all live together.
Oh, wow. Pressure cooker. Okay.
And like they don't explain why they live with their parents, but when you
And they're
watch
all in
the
their
first
30s?
episode, yeah, you get it. You get why they live with their
Wow.
parents. They don't
Okay.
explain. They don't say, but you just kind of know. Like you get it once you see the interaction with the parents.
Yeah.
You see why they live with their parents. Um, Yeah, so I liked because I did you ever watch I'll Go to You When the Weather is Nice?
No.
It's with the girl from Forecast Weather with Sung
For
Kang.
some reason, that like, the cast and the poster and everything, it just never drew me. I never even opened it. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch it. It's
The
weird,
Forecast
like,
Love,
for some
the
reason, like
Forecast one.
yeah, yeah, just I didn't even bother to glance or there's so many, like, shows that Netflix is, like, pushing on me that I just totally overlook, and a lot of the times and Netflix knew this from, like, a while back when they were doing the Play Now thing. They were like, "People will watch content where they recognize the actors." It's like
Oh yeah,
the
that's a
stars are the only push. So it's like, if I
yeah
don't know who these people are, there's no way I would click it, but with My Liberation Notes, I saw the fucking Descendants of the Sun chick in there.
yeah Kim
Isn't
Ji
that her?
Won.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that's Kim
"Okay,
Ji Won.
I'm gonna watch it," with, like, Green Mothers Club. I know this actress. I saw her in a K-drama in the '90s. I'm gonna watch it. Like, with, 2521. I was like, "I know Kim Tae-ri. I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch it." So it's
that's the
always
way.
like, if I see a star that I know from my time, then I'm excited to see it. And if
Mhm.
I don't know who these bitches are, like these young K-pop stars who are coming in and flexing their acting muscles, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna appeal to me in the very least,
Yeah,
and I'm
the
never
idols they
invested.
have to their management has to do it wisely. They can't put their idol in the lead. They have to be a secondary, or tertiary character first, just so people get used to watching them and so they can
Ease
practice their
them in.
acting.
Yeah.
But some of them just put them in those starring roles. Like, what are you doing? But the show I was talking about is with Park Min Young and the guy is So Kang Jun. But it's I'll Go to You When
Sugangju.
the Weather's Nice. It's on Viki.
Okay.
Slow burn. But they're in Higwar,
Uh-huh.
so for me it was fine.
So
Like I really
you like
liked it a lot.
shows like Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, like, you like that one?
I liked it from I think episode 4, 5, and on. I didn't like the
Uh,
first few episodes because at the time it started out like all these other dramas,
yeah.
and it didn't seem like anything new. But
Uh-huh.
then I think their chemistry really helped, and
They were great
The B
together.
love story, the chemistry helped.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I'll Go to You When the Weather's Nice. It's just a nice slow burn.
Okay.
Um, it makes me want to live there.
Hmm.
That's how I know if I like a slow
It's
burn drama
targeting
is if I
your
want to live there.
nostalgia part. It's sort of
Kind of, yeah. But then
reaching for that.
when I take a breath and ask myself, would you really live there? I'm like, no, it's crazy. I would never live there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no way.
it's
Yeah.
like, did you ever watch Gilmore Girls?
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
So Stars Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to live there, but
Fantasyland. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you really ask yourself, would you live there? No, I'm not gonna
No,
live
I
there.
don't want
But
people
it's
all up in
just
my business. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I
But
think it's this
it's nice to think.
agrarian communal thing. It's like it's nice as an imagination. Even shows like Friends, it's nice as an imagination. But it's like if
Hmm.
these people had no boundaries, they were coming into my house all the time and like all up in
Yeah.
my business, I would fucking lose it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, can't have it. Can't have it. No, but I'm actually, but like I'm gonna check out the Mothers thing.
Yeah, I
It's a
really want to
Green
see
I'm gonna check
that.
that out.
Yeah.
And then, did you check out? It's Lee Joon-gi. He's in a new one. It's
Ichungi?
on
You mean
Vicky. Is it Lee
Songjungi?
Joon-gi? Is it Joon-gi, the one that looks like he has the Chinese eyes?
I know
Um,
Songjungi, who was Song Ye-kyo's
he was in Lawless
ex-husband.
Lawyer.
No, I
He was
don't know
in
this
Lawless
guy.
Lawyer.
I don't know
Um,
any of these shows, and I don't
so
know the actor.
yeah, Lee Joon-gi. I bet you know his.
Oh, Lee Joon-gi, he was, in King and the Clown. He was that.
Yes, yes, that guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he's in a new drama right now. It's called Again My Life. Again,
He kinda
and
creeps me out. I don't really
so
like his
Again My
face.
Life is grammatically incorrect. I don't know why they never asked anyone who speaks English. It should be My Life Again if they're going to use those three words, but they did
Uh-huh.
Again My Life. So
Yeah.
all I hear is Again My Life. That's all I
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
when
yeah,
I see
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing. But
yeah,
it's I'm not a huge fan of his Lee Joon-gi,
yeah.
but basically he's a prosecutor trying to get this terrible guy in prison.
He's always playing a lawyer. What's with that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah, he's a big lawyer guy. It doesn't work out, and then I won't say what happens, but basically, in a nutshell, he goes back and starts over in college or like high
Okay.
school,
Mhm.
and then I think he's working through to make himself a better attorney.
Mm,
So he's redoing everything. So that
okay.
part's kind of interesting. So me telling you this makes it feel like it should be a comedy, but it's not. It's a serious drama
Oh.
with these supposedly comedic elements. So I think that's what makes it interesting for me a lot,
But
is
it's a high
because
pressure situation.
yeah,
Mm,
there's nothing funny about it, even though there are some scenes that should be funny and comical, but
uh-huh.
they're not directed that way, and I think
And
that's
you were drawn
they're
to
going
the
for.
show 'cause of Lee Joon-gi?
No, I was just drawn to it because it's new. Like
Okay.
I try to watch the first two episodes of each new show.
Wow.
Um, but if I don't know any of the actors, then to
Yeah.
me that leads me to believe it was a weak script and they couldn't land any big actors. So there's a reason
Oh,
why there's no big actors. I'm sure
yeah,
that's totally prejudiced, but that's just my own because there's too many
yeah.
shows. I'm not gonna be able to watch all of them.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Mm.
this, and then because of the business proposal, 39 and those, and then 25, 21 ending at the same time.
Yeah.
There's now it was like all these new shows, and also the My Lady Princess or whatever, the long running Saturday Sunday show ended. So there's a new one that came out. So all these new shows came out in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
because again, I was like,
yeah.
after the finale, what the fuck am I gonna do? But that's how it goes. Like, because in Korea they're airing it, so it's like, okay, now this is done. So next week is the next thing. So that's how it
Yeah.
goes. And I'm glad it's actually miraculous that this is even happening. Because remember, like back in the day when we were getting VHS tapes, we had to wait 3 to 4 weeks for the next fucking
Mhm.
episode, and for the next
Yeah.
show, we had to wait like a month. But now, and then even up until a few years ago, it was like I would watch K dramas on demand Korea, and then I would have to wait 24 hours for it to
Okay.
air on demand Korea. But now
Yeah.
it's like
It's
like
like
in
right there.
sync. Yeah. It's insane. It's like a whole new world.
Oh
I
yeah.
sound like an old fart, but it's really
No,
miraculous. Yeah.
that's what it, and you know who has to get their act together is Disney Plus. Because
Mm.
they're buying exclusive rights to Korean dramas now, like the one with Chizu from Blackpink.
Snowdrop, yeah.
But then
Which
they're not.
still can't finish. I'm like, I've been watching that show for 3 months now, and I can't finish it because it's so
Oh, I'm
boring.
afraid to watch it. I'm afraid to watch it because I'm
Yeah.
afraid I don't want to see Chisu in a bad light because you know I only want to see her in a good light. That's why I'm afraid to watch it. But they got the rights to this other drama with big actors, but they're
Mhm.
not streaming it here um, until I think it's over. Because Snowdrop wasn't released here until it was over in Korea.
Mhm.
And so why can't they? But in Asia Disney Plus they're released at the same time,
Mm.
but they won't do it for North America, which is I think is ridiculous. Just pay them
Well,
the license fee.
yeah, yeah, it's like they don't wanna do the They don't wanna pay the holdback fees and shit like that. I mean, sometimes there's a
Yeah, which is
holdback just because they don't want things to leak or da da da, but yeah, it's like, Netflix is faster with everything. They've always been that way because they're kind of reckless. I remember back
mhm,
when I worked in film distribution, I saw how Netflix would just buy shit without even looking at it. They didn't
mhm,
ask for any metadata, they didn't care what it was, they would just buy up everything. 'Cause
yeah,
they're always in this, R&D mode, always in
yeah,
R&D mode. They don't care about branding or this or that, they're just, like, down with everything, and that's why they are fast with stuff and they figure shit out fast because 'cause they're just down with everything, whereas Amazon is very conservative, like, "Oh, brand, da, da, da."
yeah,
Hulu, FX, Disney, Fox, they're all, like, conservative. Hulu used to have, Korean dramas on their
mhm,
thing, and then they shut it down, like, very, very quickly because they were just like, "Ah, we just don't wanna deal with it." I don't know what the I think it has to do with, like, studio conservatism because even Drama Fever, as you know, was owned by Warner Brothers, and
yeah.
then they got shut down very, very suddenly. I don't think Drama Fever staff members even fucking knew that they were getting
No,
axed. It just happened
it's
so suddenly. It was
it's like this.
violent. It was violent.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like, okay, hey Grace, our company, we just lost $5 million. Um, and then, oh, but we got another deal where we made $10 million. Oh, cool, but we lost 5 million, but we're up 5 million. Grace, do you want to pay $1,000 for the license fee? $1,000? Are you crazy? I'm not gonna pay the license fee for that. I think that's what's going on with Vicky, with Netflix, with Disney. Their company in the macro sense is dealing with millions of dollars, and then it comes to a license fee of like $10,000. Oh, well, it's crazy, it's big money. We can't do that.
Mhm,
Meanwhile, the other executives are dealing with $1 million issues, and they
mhm,
don't want to. They don't want to foot $10,000.
mhm,
That's what to me is what's going on, and that
mm,
to me is why it's so ridiculous. Disney's a $1 billion company, a multi-billion-dollar
yeah,
company. They don't
yeah,
want to spend a couple grand
mhm,
to allow North America to stream the show at the same time, which would
yeah,
drum up interest
mhm,
that much more.
mhm,
Um, but they don't want to do it.
yeah.
Like that to me, Netflix is a $1 billion company. They don't want to pay the license fee for music
Yeah,
for
that's
some of
so
these
annoying.
variety shows.
It's so annoying.
Makes no sense to me at all.
At
It's
all, at
like I said,
all. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
and I know they're
Yeah.
like, oh, but we're pinching pennies. Great, but meanwhile, you guys are making and selling and losing millions and millions of dollars, and you're quibbling over ten
So
thousand dollars.
so to me then it's like, why are they not doing that? And it's like, seriously, is it because it's Korean content and they just don't wanna bother? Like, I
I
brought
think it's
this up on my podcast multiple times, but to me, it seems just like blatant disrespect to the actual art of what it is. Like, because
yes. I
knowing
think
knowing Bros, like, those sound effects, those laugh tracks, those music cues, they all are all part of one package, and to
mhm,
excise them is to, like, castrate the comedy and bring the quality down. Even the
yeah,
Reply series, they have so many songs from that day, but
mhm,
Netflix didn't wanna deal with the license fees, so they
yeah,
just replaced it with bullshit or cut them out,
yeah,
cut out whole scenes, and I was like, "This is insane." So I just watch it on Dramacool. I just rip it off like a different site where they didn't fuck with that. And it's
yeah.
like
Look,
Korea does need to change. They do need to deal with, like, music cue sheets and, getting clearances because Korea doesn't have laws
though,
that
but
push
they do
that
now though. They get the licenses now.
to catch up and accommodate
Yeah,
Hollywood.
but like
Yeah.
so to what you were saying, like they're cutting their art and stuff. I think that's an outcome of what they're doing. I don't know that that's their intent. Like they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
intending
it's
to cut
not.
the art.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's an outcome. What I think they're
Yeah.
doing is like um, they're thinking it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they're underestimating the value of what they're doing. But if you
Yeah.
bring this example to them, like, would you ever cut music from a Martin Scorsese film? Oh
Right.
no, because he's
Yeah.
telling a story. Well, what do you think they're doing?
Yeah,
They're telling a
exactly.
story with music just as much as Martin is. They're just not
Exactly.
Martin Scorsese.
Uh-huh.
So you shouldn't do that, but they
Yeah.
do it. It happens in America too.
Yeah.
When let's say, just if you use for example Friends, because we've been talking about it,
Yeah.
when Friends has a certain song,
Yeah.
if Warner Brothers doesn't want to pay the license fee for every copy of the DVD, they'll just change the song out.
Mhm.
Korea, how they get away, how they got around all this stuff, well, not around it, but they basically have all the songs in one database, and then they
Mm,
pay a membership fee, and you can
mm,
use any song in there. So,
mm,
like, I know Jay from Solid,
mhm,
and so he
mhm,
was telling me that when they use his song,
mm,
he gets a small amount of money, but it's because it's all the songs are in this like database of songs
mhm.
that all these networks pay money into,
And
so they're able to use.
For Korea only, the territory of Korea only,
I
not
believe it's for Korea only. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I believe
But
it's
now
for Korea,
that
but
these are going abroad, like, that's where the things get
I think they
weird.
have to pay license fees now because they do, the shows do go abroad. They're on a global
Yeah,
platform like Netflix.
yeah,
They have to pay.
yeah,
Whereas before, obviously, they didn't do that.
right.
But like in America, like for America, we have to pay. They have to pay the license fee. But it's like, dude, you guys have billions of dollars, and I get it. It's a bottom line thing, but don't try to pass it off as the same thing. Like, because
Yeah,
it's
because
not. Because
it's not, because it's
there's
not.
that scene in Reply 88 where she sings a Spanish
That
song.
Spanish song, it's, like, one of the
Yeah,
best scenes in that whole
it's
series.
hilarious, but
It's
it's
so
cut.
good.
Yeah,
The whole thing is cut, and I'm like,
yeah.
I can't fucking believe this shit. Like, I watched the Reply 1988 series, like, just to, like, if I just wanna watch something and just feel good or
Hmm.
whatever, and I don't watch it on Netflix, I watch it somewhere else where they didn't
Yeah,
fuck with it, you know?
I know. It's like I don't know if you watched Knowing Brothers when Girls' Generation was on. They played a name that tune game where they had to name, not only name the song, the
Uh-huh.
group, they had to do the dance.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone's participating,
Yeah, yeah.
and you get to see Hichar and
Yeah.
how much he knows about
Yeah, he's the
everything.
best. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then you get to see like the Girls' Generation girls, how they knew the dances of the
Oh, wow.
competition. You get to
Yeah.
see all that,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and they cut that entire thing out. Um,
It's a monstrous thing to do, yeah.
yeah,
So, for me, honestly, that kinda does feel microaggressive. It feels microaggressive. It feels like, "Oh, this is Korean shit, we don't know what it is, so we don't care." Like, it does
yeah.
come off
It
that
could be
way.
it could be that too. Yeah, that they don't care.
Yeah.
Um,
But the great irony is what was Korea the most known for before Korean television? It was fucking K-pop, right?
yeah,
And it's like, "Oh, I thought you loved our music. Oh, wait, but you don't wanna pay the license fees for it when they're in a TV show?" Like, they're just showing so many inconsistencies, and I think
mhm.
right now it's just because they're still learning. They're still learning how to deal with Korean content in the best way possible, and they're just
And
running
also not
into
everyone knows. I know, but I think most people, the casual person, like let's say 80% that's watching the shows on Netflix or Viki or whatever, they
yeah.
don't know the music change. And I'm sure a lot of times we don't know the music change either. But it's like they'll use some. It's like when you watch one of those B movies in America, and they'll play this song that sounds like "Eye of the Tiger,"
Mhm.
but it's not "Eye of the Tiger."
Mhm.
Or they'll it's "Eye of the Tiger," but it's sung by someone else because the license
Okay.
fee is like way cheaper.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, my guess is they'll probably do that, where they'll play a Korean song
Uh-huh.
to fool everyone to thinking that this was the actual song they played, but it's
Yeah.
just totally cheap,
Yeah.
to do. Because yeah, at the end of the day, I do believe it's a bottom line thing. However, I'm sure it is also stemming from, what does it matter? Like, who cares? They're not gonna know. Um, and that to me is unfortunate because like I agree with you. It cuts into that person, that director and writer's art.
Yeah.
Like they wanted this particular song in there,
Yeah.
um, and that's what's unfortunate. And I always feel incomplete too when I'm watching because knowing that they cut things, I always feel
Yeah. Yeah.
incomplete.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
Do you watch Knowing Brothers, by the way? Do you watch it regularly?
I watched it, like, obsessively for, like, 2, 3 years, and
Okay,
then in 2019, I just stopped
just stopped.
altogether. Yeah.
Do you know the guy? I forgot his name. It starts with an S. He's from, I think, is it 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. The Idol group. I forget.
Is he the new cast member that they added?
He's not a cast member.
He was a
He's
guest?
an idol. But let me um because we're talking about cutting.
Yeah.
Uh, there's this he was a guest with the Korean Zombie on Knowing Brothers,
Okay.
and
With the Korean Zombie.
Yeah, the fighter, Surhong.
The
Solong. He and then right after this, he got caught for he hit someone in his car. Yeah, he hit someone in his car. So he sings this song with this Chinese idol.
uh-huh.
I forgot what it's called, but at the very end of the episode, they cut to him and this girl, Korean girl Cherry B, singing
Uh,
the song.
yeah.
I'll email you the link to it, but
Okay.
it's a duet. He sings it with I want to say her name's Kai or something,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I guess she wasn't available, so he brought
Yeah.
Cherry B.
Okay.
Amazing little duet that they do.
Okay.
She has a
Uh-huh.
great voice, but
Yeah.
you don't see it in the Netflix because they didn't want to pay for the license fee.
So annoying.
So it sucks that you don't get to
I
see
don't
that.
watch Knowing Bros, like, at all. Like, I don't watch it on Netflix. I don't even watch it, like, on the other things anymore, but I think part of it was, like, the distaste was like, "Oh, it's on Netflix, and they fucking ruined the show," and I'm like, "I'm over it," you know? But also, it's
Yeah,
like, Knowing Bros, it's been on f since, like, 2015, like, for a long time, and it's
yeah.
kinda like the same thing over and over again, you know? Like, they keep
Well,
making fun of
okay.
Young Chul over and over for
One
the
thing's
same
different now.
thing.
One thing's different now. Heater can't flirt with the girls.
Why?
He's too old. It comes off very creepy.
He's
When he was
never
in his
flirted,
30s,
but to me, he's never flirted with the girls. He always just, like, seemed like he was one of them. Like, he's so gay and,
oh no,
like,
he if you he flirted with a
androgynous.
lot of them. There's a
Yeah,
lot of clips of him flirting. But now that he's close to 40, if not 40 already,
yeah.
um, it comes off creepy because they're 20 years apart.
And they make fun
Whereas
of him
before,
for that?
yeah, so he can't. To me, his energy is different
Oh,
than it
interesting.
was back then. Like back then, there was like
See, that bums me
sexual
out. That's, like,
tension.
making me sad because he was such a free
Yeah,
spirit, you know? Like,
yeah,
didn't they
and I
add
think
a new cast member too?
they
Like,
did. He's okay. I don't
okay,
watch it as much as I used to
yeah. But do
because
you watch it on Viki with all the laugh track and everything? Where do you watch it?
so Vicky also cuts theirs because they don't pay the license fees either.
Are you serious?
So
Then where do
what
you
I'll
watch
do
it?
is if it's someone I know and I
Yeah,
like, I'll
yeah.
watch it on demand Korea,
Oh, okay.
and then
Yeah,
when it comes out on Netflix,
yeah,
I'll watch it again, but I'll
yeah.
watch him at the same time because there's no subtitles. On demand Korea
God,
doesn't do
you
subtitles.
do so much work.
I do so
Wow.
much.
You're such a student of Korean television.
Do you watch Torsing Pullman?
No, I'm not
That show.
watching right now, I'm not watching any variety shows right now.
Oh,
I'm
so
just gonna
you watched My Ugly Duckling before, right?
no, not really.
Oh, you did. Okay,
Before,
so
I watched, like, Infinite Challenge, I watched Knowing Bros, I watched, I watched anything with Yu Jae-suk. I watched, like, Hang Out With
mm,
You. I loved that other show where he and, that fat guy would walk around the streets. It was called, like, Quiz, and they would
oh yeah, yeah.
quiz people, and
Isn't
I
that still on?
loved no, it is in Korea, but On Demand Korea took it down, and I was
Oh,
devastated because that
is it
show
on?
was amazing.
You know who? What network I really hate because they won't work with anyone is TVN.
Why? Why do you hate
So
them?
TVN has a deal with Netflix, so their
Okay.
dramas are on Netflix,
Yeah.
but their variety shows
Uh-huh.
they're on YouTube, no
Uh-huh.
subtitles. They do Amazing Saturday, which I think is a fun concept where they try to
Yeah.
figure out the lyrics of songs.
Yeah, yeah.
They did the I don't remember the guy's name because it's a guy, but
Uh-huh.
he's an actor. Uh, ah, the movie I remember him from is 200 Pound Beauty. He
Okay.
plays one of the producers, but he's
Alright.
funny. You know, stupid. He's the dad in Reply series. In every Reply series, he's the dad.
Oh, Shin-dong what's his face? Yeah,
But
yeah,
so
yeah.
that guy and two other actors, they went around in a camping RV all over Korea, and they invited their celebrity friends to eat and talk. And I thought that's awesome.
성동일, 성동일. Yeah.
One of the guy actors was the actor from Hotel Del Luna, and then another one
God,
was
you watch so much TV. It's amazing.
the other one. The other one always plays an a hole, so like you know his face, you'll know him. But they just
Okay.
hang out. IU came on,
Uh-huh.
Hetty came on,
Uh-huh.
and they just eat barbecue and talk and they drink.
Sounds
And I thought
nice.
that's a great concept, but they
Yeah.
don't do subtitles, and they won't put the whole clip on YouTube. So
Yeah.
I don't like TVN personally.
You take
And
it
then
personally
I
that
take it
they
very
do this.
personally with TVN because at least JTBC they put their episodes on. You
Yeah.
have to search, but they'll put their episodes of Knowing Brothers on with full subtitles. They'll do it,
Oh,
or
really?
they'll
Wow.
allow it. I'll say they'll
Wow.
allow it.
Okay.
But TVN, they don't. But there, and then we have to hope that the dramas Netflix doesn't select, Vicky picks up. And if Vicky doesn't pick it up,
They always
it'll
will,
go to
though.
usually. But so in Korea, their highest rated shows are Saturday, Sunday. Those are the highest rated ones.
Mhm.
So Vicky had the one, I think it was like My Lady Princess or Princess whatever.
Mhm.
Um, that one was like the number one show. It had at 1.37% of the viewing
Wow.
audience was watching that show. Now it's over, so another one started.
Yeah.
But the new one that started, Vicky didn't pick it up. It's
Mhm.
on Cocoa, which is a like the conglomerate of
Mhm.
the three major networks.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everyone's assumption was is that Vicky picked up everything from Cocoa. They don't. So this is one of those shows they're not picking up. So because my mom likes these shows because they're easy to watch. The villain isn't a super villain where you get upset, and it's just a nice, easy watch, and that's why their ratings are always so high.
Is it
And
like an
so,
Ajumma Pro?
no, they call it something. I don't remember what it's called.
Okay.
It's a certain genre in Korea that they call it. But there's like 20 characters.
Yeah, those are Ajumma Pros. They watch
Is
it,
that
like,
what?
during the daytime. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's not a daytime show though. It's a nighttime show. Like those
Huh.
like those daytime like running soap operas. Like they're like 100 and something episodes.
Like
This one they're
Yeonsokguk,
usually like
okay.
40 to 50 episodes on the
Uh-huh.
weekend.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, Vicky they decided, and what pisses me off is Vicky's parent company is Rakuten, which is a Japanese like Amazon
They own
billion
Lyft and shit. Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar company. They don't want
Yeah.
to pay license fees. Same thing.
They used to, though, or they
They used to.
ignored it. They ignored
Yeah.
it, like, On Demand Korea ignores it. That's why I like On Demand Korea because they ignore that shit. I don't know
Yeah.
how they're getting away with it, but I'm like, "Please get away with it for as long as you can, because as long
Well,
as
but
they're around, I feel comforted."
I think the networks know or they know because they on demand create. You can also get Cocoa through them. So they're
Hmm,
to me that as legitimacy because the networks are working with them.
hmm.
Um, that's just my own justification. I
I
could be
just have
completely
no
off on
idea
that.
how they're getting away with it. Like, I don't know what their system is that they're able to stream these things in the US and not get hit with copyright issues the way
Well,
that
because they like I said, they to me they because they have Cocoa. So I
okay,
think they're just like because Cocoa is SBS, KBS, NBC. It's their
okay.
shows. That's like the how the rest of the world gets those shows.
Or maybe this is the loophole. Maybe because not everything is subtitled on demand Korea. In fact, most are not. Maybe it's
Yeah,
like since it's not subtitled, we're not targeting American
that's
audiences,
true.
and
Yeah, that could be
therefore
it.
maybe it's not an issue. Yeah, yeah. Maybe they're bypassing it that
But the
way.
movies are subtitled. I just watched Exit with Yuna and Hospital Playlist guy.
You watch so much TV and movies, bro. What do you do all day? All day
Well,
you
I
just
actually don't
watch
watch during
content.
the day. I watch kind of like how people say it's they get a drink. Oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll turn the TV on at 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Damn, you
Um,
watch so much. I
and it helps that I have a good memory, except for guys'
yeah.
names.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
Exit is I almost turned it off in the middle because it was just
Mhm.
so like not good.
Mhm.
But I'm a fan of Yuna,
Mhm.
and I just kind of want to see what happened.
Mhm.
But the new movie on Netflix, the Korean movie, Kachi or Kanchi or whatever, that's worth a watch. It's a spy thriller, or not? I'm sorry, not thriller. It's a spy action movie.
Okay.
It's with the guy from Prison Playlist,
Okay.
or is it Prison Playlist or Prison something? Prison
Playbook?
Playbook. Prison
Uh-huh.
Playbook. It's the
Uh-huh.
lead from there is in there, and then the girl from the Reply series very well. You know in Reply 88, Hetty's brother,
Uh-huh.
his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember her?
Yeah. With the
She's in
dyed
this
hair?
movie. Yeah, she's in the movie, and then Lee L is in the movie
Yeah.
with a bowl cut.
Oh, wow.
Took me a few minutes to recognize who it was. I'm like, she looks awfully familiar, but I couldn't place it because she had a bowl cut.
She's one of those actresses, like, because she's so hot, like, she's, like, very
Hmm.
beautiful, she's, like, willing to go daring and not be
Yeah.
labeled as, like, the pretty girl. Like, I heard Halle Berry did that. She didn't wanna be just some hot girl, and so she would
Hmm.
take on these, like, weird roles a lot where she pushes herself, and Leo does that. Like
Yeah.
she played a transgender person
Mhm.
in a show. She played that old granny lady, in Goblin.
Yeah.
Like
Goblin.
she's like very willing to go and prove that she's more than just a pretty face, and I really respect her as an actress for that.
See, you're a girl, so you could probably answer this. Like, do you think like hot girls that the hot girls that know they're hot, they know
Mhm.
what they look like.
Uh-huh.
Do you think sometimes like they just ugly themselves up just for the sake of it? Because I feel
No?
that way. I feel like Nana does that sometimes.
Okay.
Like she's like, you know what? I'm gonna get a nappy haircut, and because I don't care, because like I'm hot and I'm still gonna be hot.
I don't think they do it because they are preoccupied by their hotness. I think they
Oh, I don't
do
think
it.
they're preoccupied. It's just
Yeah.
about them recognizing that, because there's some hot girls that don't know they're hot, like because they're so insecure, whatever it may be. But then there's hot girls that like, oh yeah, I know what I look like. Like I know when I walk into a room, all guys' eyes are on me. I know
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
And so to me, because sometimes like Nana gets these haircuts where I'm like, what were you thinking? And then I start thinking, well, her mentality might be different, because I think the way like average people are is like, oh, we're gonna do this so that we can look better, or so that we think we'll feel that we look better, or maybe we'll look better. But maybe for them, their mentality is different. Like they're not doing things to look better because they already look good. Um, that I don't know, because like sometimes I see Nana's haircuts, and I'm like, what's going? I know it was for a role, but it's like, come on, like what are you doing here? Um,
Yeah, I think that's a question for her directly. Uh,
yeah,
for me, I just dress and make myself appear as however I want to feel, like the most comfortable. It's not
yeah.
even a matter of like up or down. It's like I want to feel the most comfortable today, and this is what's going to bring me comfort, and that's how I roll. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Cause
know.
yeah, because I think the average person, when they get their hair done, haircut, go
Hmm.
shopping or whatever,
Hmm.
their goal is to look better. The average
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
I think, it's to
uh-huh,
look better.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I feel like, and maybe it's just I'm holding on to this fantasy that hot people, that the ones that know that they're good looking,
yeah,
maybe their goals are a little different.
yeah.
Like, let's see what I can get away with. Like, and
Mm.
that's just kind
M-
of how I feel with like
Maybe,
some of these,
maybe it is a game like that.
you're saying with Lee L. Halle Berry. Charlize did the same thing with the role
Hmm.
Monster.
Yep.
Um, to me, out of all of Lee L's roles, the one in Liberation Notes, this new drama,
Hmm.
I like her the best because out of all her roles is because she has this layer of vulnerability,
Hmm.
and you can see it crack,
Hmm.
and then the vulnerability comes out. And so um, I think this is more of her an organic role, as opposed
Mm.
to where she's like the hot seductress, or just a token hot girl that just walks in the scene and then leaves.
Mm.
She actually has like layers in this show.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, again, I can see the show not being popular because it is such a slow burn.
And I think
Like,
it's the kinda show that would target more, like, Korean audiences or Korean Americans, like a Korean
yeah,
diaspora.
and
I don't think
especially middle
it's
aged.
for yeah, I don't think it's for, like, mainstream, like, international viewers with no face. I think
It's not for
there
the
are pla
TikTok generation.
there are a lot of shows on Netflix that where that audience diverges, you
Yeah,
know? And I think Our Blues will be one of those things. I don't think a lot of people give a shit that Lee Byung-hun and Cha Seung-eun are in it, or
yeah,
Jung-ha. Fucking Jung-ha's in it too. I'm, like,
yeah. That's
excited to
right.
see
That's
her
right. Yeah,
coming up.
she's in it too. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not because it's. I think that show, Our Blues, is, without knowing the story or watching episodes, people will be like, "Oh, they're in it. Let's watch that." It's a niche group of
Mhm.
people.
Yeah,
Um,
For Koreans and the Korean diaspora. I don't think
yeah,
it's for everybody. Yeah.
no, like
And
Squid
they're
Games.
also older, you know?
Yes, yeah, they're not. There's no spring chicks in there.
No.
Like Squid Games. I don't think most of the people who made it globally number one knows who Lee Jung Jae is.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah, they don't know who. I mean, like, I didn't know who the model was. You know,
Lee Ha-jun?
yeah, I didn't know her before the show. The one
Oh,
third girl.
Ho-jung, Kim
Yeah,
Ho-jung.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Or
hot.
like I know her as Friends of Jenny. Uh, I didn't know who she
I
was.
knew her because she was dating that guy from Reply 1988, the guy with the
That's right. Aren't they
glasses.
married? or are they
I
just
don't know if
dating?
they're married. I think they're just dating, but, like, he started dating her while he was still on that show. So,
Yeah.
like, she became I mean, she was already a well-known model, but, like, her status was elevated because she was dating him, and now
Hmm.
it's like she made such big waves from that TV show
Yeah.
that it's insane. Like, she's way big of a
Yeah.
star than he will ever be. Yeah.
I know.
Uh,
And the thing is, he's such a good character actor.
he's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that guy. He's so and he's an amazing singer. Like, I adore him. I wanna see him in more things moving forward, and more comedic stuff because 'cause he's been playing some serious shit lately.
He's really good. I love his looks that he gives, like in Reply
Mhm.
88,
He's
and then
so
how he
good.
says things. His
Yeah.
rhythm is really good.
He's he's like a really great comedic actor. He's just
Hmm.
got it, and I wanna keep seeing him do more funny shit. But he's also a serious actor. You could see that he has, like, the chops for it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been talking for a while, so, I'll let you go, but
Okay.
thanks for doing this, Walter.